figure it out. Why don't you lay it all the way down? All the way. Just lay down. Just lay down. There you go. You got it. There you go. Okay. Got that figured out. Welcome to a what am I doing with my life episode of Willie Lumpkin Delivers. It is not going to be the last. It is probably not going to be the last this week, to be honest with you. So got some things to share that came in the mail, as is this series is. Where to start? All right. So it was only two deliveries, but they're pretty good ones. So I won a couple auctions from the same person, so that's what's always nice. I can save on shipping. Couple things to go towards the Amazing Spidey collection. So Amazing Spidey 65. So this brings our countdown to ASM 0 to 36. This is sort of an auxiliary one. This wasn't the main one I was going for. I got something else, and then they also had this, and it was something I needed in decent shape. So just by looking at their other auctions, I caught that and was able to pick it up. I think there were a couple of other things I was going for, but didn't win. The main thing was the Amazing Spidey number 10. So this is the first appearance of the Enforcers. And Big Man, he's Big Man for, I think, just one issue, but more importantly, it's Fred Foswell. He has a pretty big role, at least in the early days of Amazing Spider-Man, as working for J. Jonah Jameson at the Bugle. He's in a lot of those earlier issues. So I was pretty happy with this pickup. There was another copy of this in a 5.0 that someone else had up for a buy it now, make an offer. And I was kind of trying to start going back and forth with them, but it looked like they weren't budging much from their original position. And then this popped up on auction. So I made an offer to the original person, and they came back with something that they weren't moving very much. So I messaged them back and said, I'm going to decline because there is something up for auction that I think is probably going to go for a lot cheaper than what you're stuck at. So I ended up bidding on the auction, and it went for a lot cheaper than what he was stuck at. So I got that. Sorry, man. Be more flexible, I guess. I did see later that listing ended up selling for not much more than what I originally offered, but probably more than what I would have been okay with offering in the end if he had just played along a little bit. But because this auction ended as low as it did, it showed that this isn't worth as much, or isn't going for as much as he thought. So he ended up getting less for his because he was being stingy. So look, man, if you're not willing to haggle, if you're not willing to go, you're not willing to do the back and forth. Like, first of all, don't make an offer if you're not really serious about accepting legitimate offers. But if they would have come back with a more reasonable offer after my first one, that was higher than what I ended up getting this one for, and higher than what he ended up having to sell his for, I probably would have taken it. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to what's going on. Don't just have, if you're a seller, don't just have some number in your mind of that's what I want to get for this thing, and stick to it if all around you the same thing is going for so much cheaper. You're just going to end up losing out in the long term. All right. So besides that, I only had one other shipment. But boy, what a shipment. So my go-to online seller keeps throwing out these like 30 and 33% off sales that I keep biting. And every time they do, they end up stocking a few more things that I actually need off of the runs I'm trying to complete. And then, of course, there's like, oh, hey, look, they have this as well, and this looks fun, so I'll get that. So we'll start with the most important stuff. Amazing Spider-Girl number 19. This is actually, it says 17, but it's actually 19. It was a misprint. There are two versions of this. One that says 19 and one that's a misprint that says 17. I didn't really care which one that I got, because for this, I just really want the story. So as long as I got it, I got it. Oh, wait, this is countdown to ASM 35. If 35 more issues of Amazing Spider-Man to go. We can do it, team, I guess. Got a few issues of Spectacular. Some decent ones, some lower ones. 17, 21, 48. So some decent issues of that. Here is an important one. Web of Spider-Man number 70. This is the last issue of Web of Spider-Man I needed. So this finishes off my run of Web of Spider-Man. One of the 4 major ongoing Spider-Man titles: Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, Web of Spider-Man, and just Spider-Man. 1 down, 3 to go. So that was good. And this issue, like if you go on eBay, for whatever reason, on eBay, this issue goes for like $10 to $15 because it's like, oh, it's Spider-Hulk. It's Spider-Man. Hulk's out. It's not really a key, but because of that sort of crossover thing, it seems to go for a little bit more than it probably should. The place that I went to had it for, less than $3. I'm like, done, sold. Just put it in my cart and get moving, get going. And then some what ifs from series 2. Three what ifs that I need from that. Nothing terribly exciting there. But it's issues that I needed towards some runs. Some Scarlet Spider stuff. So I have Web of Scarlet Spider. So for all of the ongoings that at this time, there were Scarlet Spider versions. So there's Web of Scarlet Spider, which was 4 issues, I believe, for Web of Spider-Man. Amazing Scarlet Spider for Amazing Spider-Man. 2 issues of that. Spectacular Scarlet Spider for Spectacular Spider-Man. 2 issues of that. And 2 issues of Scarlet Spider for just Spider-Man. And 1 issue of Scarlet Spider Unlimited for Spider-Man Unlimited. Where Spider-Man took a short hiatus, and Scarlet Spider took over all of the current ongoing, all the ongoing Spider-Man titles of that time. So if I'm going to go through and read all of Spider-Man, these, while they're not officially part of those runs, as far as the story goes, they sort of fill in a gap. So needed those. And the rest of this is, most of the rest of this, I mean, we'll stick with Spider-Man, is just Spider-Man minis and things that I picked up. Evidently, somewhere along the way, I decided that in my Spider-Man collection, I'm just going to get off a miniseries as well, because it's freaking insane. So Spider-Man Team Up. Again, I think this was just 7 issues. Yeah, it's just 7 issues, but they're pretty thick issues. Now, Marvel Team Up, I haven't decided on that, because Marvel Team Up is the vast majority of those issues are Spider-Man and someone else. It's not officially a Spider-Man title, but it's kind of unofficially a Spider-Man title. I haven't decided what to do about that. If that falls under the umbrella of full run of Spider-Man. 6 issues, Spider-Man and X-Men. This is a little more current than the stuff that I kind of usually get, but if I'm going for all Spider-Man minis, I can't be picky. Getting back into the early 90s stuff. The 4-issue Spider-Man Final Adventure. Spider-Man: The Lost Years. This is issue. It's a 3-issue series, but there's also a 0 issue that had some reprint stuff and a little bit of new material that was sort of a prologue to The Lost Years. This isn't actually about Peter Parker Spider-Man. It's about Ben Reilly. The 0 issue is really, really cool because it has stories. The story about like right after Ben Reilly came out of the vat. And him kind of running into Spider-Man for the first time, and it was pretty good. The 4-issue run of Deadly Foes of Spider-Man. It keeps going, people. It keeps going. The sequel to Deadly Foes of Spider-Man, The Lethal Foes of Spider-Man. And that's late 80s, early 90s stuff. Spider-Man Dr. Octopus Negative Exposure. That was a 5-issue series, which I may actually have already had, but they were really cheap and I didn't feel like searching for it to see if I had it, so I just said heck with it. Oh, this is fun stuff. This is super fun. The official Marvel Index to Amazing Spider-Man. I picked up 1 through 9. 9 was the last one, so all of them except for number 3 because I already had number 3 somehow in the Gathering Spider-Man stuff. I picked up a number 3, but that was it. What these are is that it goes through, like each one has about 30 issues of Spider-Man where it gives the issue, and it shows the cover and like a synopsis of the story in there, the characters that were in it, and so on. It goes up to, how far does it go? Number 9. I mean, I presume it went up to what was currently out at the time, up to 215. But if you look at, let me find a good example here. Yeah, so it for every single issue, it has a full color picture of the cover and then a fairly detailed synopsis of like what happened in this issue. List like, you know, the artists, the writers, supporting characters, villains, other characters, various comments, and then pretty in-depth synopsis. I mean, not that I need to read through all these as I am reading through all of Amazing Spider-Man. It just seems like a really cool thing to sort of have and be able to flip through. And then the last thing that I got, not Spider-Man related, believe it or not, is I think this was volume 2. I think the first volume was a 4-issue mini, but Cloak and Dagger. Because, I mean, again, it was one of those things like, hey, they have the full run of that, and it's cheap. I don't have it. It'd be a really good read, so let's pick it up. So that's what I did. The unfortunate thing about all of this is when I do this thing with the store, I was like, yeah, that's 30% off, and the things that I'm getting aren't really that expensive in the first place. I mean, some of the lower issues of Spectacular Spider-Man, you know, they're maybe getting up into $8 to $10 or something like that. Nothing crazy. Everything else is like really, really cheap. But stuff adds up. It adds up. Before you know it, you're seeing these like, oh yeah, look at that. It's like it's $2 an issue. That's nothing. And then it's 30% off. Oh, it'll be fine. Yeah. $6 total, whatever. It's okay. And then you do that enough times, and then you look at your cart, and it's like, oh, That's how math works. Stuff adds up. Is that right? Is that right? Look who's still here. Look who's still here. Do you want to say hi? You want to say hi? This is baby Wendigo. This is little baby Wendigo. Yeah. I've learned that she does a lot better if I just leave her in the room. If I don't, she sometimes starts whining and scratching at the door. So she's pleased if she can just hang out in here. So that is it. Just the 2 deliveries, but that was, boy, it was enough. The 2 Amazing Spider-Mans, and then the stuff from the big old box stuff from the online shop. So that's it. Had some deliveries, and I can't keep this up. At some point, I have to cut off. Like, what is enough? What will make me ultimately satisfied with the back issues that I have? Because there's always going to be more. Am I going to go for all the Spider-Man minis? Like, at this point, I probably have most of them, to be honest. Do I finish that out? Do I finish out the full runs that I'm working on and call that good? And because this is a lot of resources, monetary resources that I could be putting to like really big key issues, right? Because none of this stuff, this little stuff that I'm getting, even these full runs of Spider-Man for the most part, are really going to appreciate and value very much. Not that that's what I'm in it for, but still, it's something that the value is something that helps warrant buying stuff, that it will go up in value if at some point I do need to bail out and I need the money for whatever reason, God forbid anything more will happen. But these, like, the full run of Cloak and Dagger, like that, I mean, it's not going to go up in value. It's not even like a first appearance of Cloak and Dagger, right? This could be going to big hitting key issues that I don't have, and would really help boost the actual collection itself. So I got to cut it off some point. I think we're getting to the point now where I have an idea of what needs to get gotten, and then that will hopefully be it. But the problem is I just, like, I love so much. I love like this Cloak and Dagger, the Captain Carrot and Zoo Crew. Like, it's just, who cares? But it's fun, and I want to read it. And what am I doing with my life? What am I doing? Help me, please. Help guide me. Anyway, that's it. I'll beat myself up and drag myself over the coals off camera, so you don't have to put up with that. But like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. And I will see you very soon. This video was brought to you by Titan Comic Pressing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Titan Comic Pressing LLC.